What's up, my Yu-Gi Bros? I'm your host, the one, the only, the RJB0. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Business Casual. Since the time has come for me to make the video that you're all going to hate me for. There's a good portion of my subscribers who didn't want me to do this video, and the portion of my subscribers who did want me to do this video are not going to like what they hear. So, I have promised to do this video, but let's dive right into my recap review of Galaxy Photon. Now, the last time I did a review on Galaxy Photon, I said some let's just say kind of nasty things about it. And here's part of the things that you're not going to like about this. I'm not going to apologize for those things that I said about the deck. I am going to stand by basically everything I said in that review because the English language has only equipped me with one word to describe Galaxy Photon in the current TCG, and that word is ass-tacular. The deck really cannot do anything. I've played with it against casual decks, I played with it against competitive decks, and I've played just about every different version of the deck trying to find one that will work in the current TCG, and it's just not going to happen. So that's that. However, the deck does have some pretty cool support coming out in the near future. So in the name of good reporting, I do have to do a recap review on the deck because it has changed a lot, at least in the OCG, since I did my last review. So let me get down to my recap review of Galaxy Photon. So the deck has actually gotten some pretty cool things, and I do like to start with what I liked about the deck. And some of those things are actually really great. For instance, I've never seen another deck in the game put a Felgrand and Pleiades on the board at the same time. However many hoops you had to go through to get it, and however many minuses you went, I usually just went -1 to do it, and that's kind of okay if you have a Pleiades and a Felgrand on the board, and that's just a cool play in general to make. Photon Stream of Destruction, their quick play removal card, is awesome. That card is amazing. I kind of wish that it didn't have to be attached to a Galaxy Eyes monster, or like if it could just be a Photon or a Galaxy monster, then it would be really good. But as it is, the card is pretty darn good. The other card that really impressed me while I was playing this deck was Galaxy Eyes Full Armored Photon Dragon. This card is a Chaos Xyz for any Galaxy Eyes monster, and it is a 4,000 attack point beater with a detach to destroy a face-up card effect. That's just freaking amazing. Now, there are other decks that could potentially make that card, but it is kind of a staple to this deck, so I feel that I must mention it when talking about this deck. So those are the things that I really like about the deck. Your best plays really have to do with 3 cards: Galaxy Soldier, Galaxy Knight, and Galaxy Expedition. Between those 3 cards, you have basically the majority of your plays. You use Galaxy Wizard and Galaxy Expedition, or not Galaxy Wizard. Well, you can use Galaxy Wizard and use Galaxy Expedition to get Galaxy Soldier, but Galaxy Soldier is really the focus in that it can search out any of your Galaxy monsters. So you can combine Galaxy Soldier with Galaxy Expedition to summon either another Soldier or a Photon Slasher from your deck in order to make Pleiades plays and be able to search for your other Galaxy monsters. You also use it to get Galaxy Knight to your hand and set up for your rank 8 plays. So Galaxy Soldier is really kind of I'd say it's the Stratos of the deck, but you can't loop it nearly as hard, and it isn't a normal summon, but it's kind of how that works. It's the way that you tutor the deck. And you can make plays between it and Galaxy Expedition with Galaxy Wizard. There are just a lot of ways that those 2 cards can work well together. And then your real win condition is your Galaxy Knight. Galaxy Knight is the card that really makes the deck function, because it is the thing that combines with Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in order to make your really big rank 8 plays, and those are really how you win with this deck. That's kind of how the deck plays for those of you who have never played it. Now, I have played a bunch of different variants on this deck, and I'm just talking about the variant that I have been using that has worked out the best for me, and that just goes with the 3 Galaxy Knight, 3 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, 3 Galaxy Soldier, 3 Galaxy Wizard, 2 Cloud Eyes Photon Dragon, which is another card that's super cool. That card is awesome because you contribute it to summon Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from your graveyard, and that's just super cool. So that's another great thing about the deck, and that's just kind of the version that I'm running right now. I'm also running the Artifact engine in there, but I'll get to that in a second. First, we have to discuss the problems that the deck still has. Now, the big problem with this deck right now is that you actually have to fulfill some very specific conditions in order to make plays with this deck. For instance, in order to make a Galaxy Knight play, you have to have a Galaxy or Photon monster on the board that you didn't normal summon this turn, so you can normal summon the Galaxy Knight. Now, that does take some work, because you generally have to use Galaxy Soldier in order to fulfill that, or Galaxy Zero, or Call of the Haunted. That limits your plays to some degree. Another thing is that in order to make your best Galaxy Soldier plays, you really should have a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in your hand, or one already in your graveyard, so that you can set up for a Galaxy Knight play. Do you see how this is kind of working? That you have to have some fairly conditional things in your hand in order for the deck to work at its optimum potential. Even if you're making a Galaxy Soldier, Galaxy Expedition play, you have to have something in your hand that you want to discard for Galaxy Soldier in order to make the play. Otherwise, you're going to just ultimately be going at minus to lose plays from your hand, and that's not good. So that creates a couple of major weaknesses for the deck. The first weakness that comes from having very conditional plays is that it loses really hard to defensive cards. If your play gets hit with a bottomless at any time, or a warning, or a torrential, or a artifact sanctum into moral talk, any of those things will block your plays almost entirely and stop you for a turn. And that's a really big issue for the deck because you do have to commit a lot of resources in order to make its plays. So if you get hit with defensive cards, you lose pretty hard. And Forbidden Lance has kind of helped me with that to some degree, but it hasn't totally eliminated that problem. The other thing is that you can lose to your own hand a lot of the time. When you have a bunch of really conditional plays that have to work like very specifically in combo with each other, then you end up with some super awkward hands with the wrong combo pieces in them. And it also means that the deck really only can make one play per turn. And in a format like this one, in fact, in the current version of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, the most recent like 2 years, a deck cannot afford to just make one play per turn unless it's a heavy defensive deck, which Galaxy Photon definitely is not. So there's been some ways that I've been trying to mitigate these problems. One of the ways that I've been mitigating the awkward hands is by running 3 trade-in. 3 trade-in has been helping me out a lot with that. It's improved the deck substantially, because it means that if you open with a Galaxy Knight but no Galaxy Knight plays, you can use that to deck thin and possibly draw into a Galaxy Soldier and or a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in order to make Galaxy Soldier into Knight play for your turn. Another thing that's really helps with this problem is the artifact engine that I've been running with 3 Sanctum and 3 Moral Talk. This has actually been improving the plays of this deck exponentially. It's amazing how much the artifact engine has helped this deck, because it means that not only do you have plays in case one of your plays gets stopped, you can put a Moral Talk on the board and pop a card on your opponent's side of the field, and that's really, really helpful, but it also means that you can do things with your Galaxy Soldier once you put it on the board. One of the big issues with Galaxy Soldier is it has 0 defense, and you have to summon it in defense unless you're summoning it with Call the Haunted or with Galaxy 0, and I wouldn't use Galaxy 0 on a Soldier because it negates its effect anyway. So you have to summon the Galaxy Soldier in defense most of the time. With 0 defense, you end up going at minus with that card fairly often. So one thing that adding the artifact engine has really done for the deck is it gives you a follow-up for your Galaxy Soldier play. So if you summon a Moral Talk from your deck with Sanctum, make the pop, then during your turn you can go into the Galaxy Soldier play and make a Pleiades, and that's really, really good. So that's one way that I've seriously mitigated the deck. Alright, so there you guys go. That's just kind of an idea of how Galaxy Photon plays with the new support. I really do not think that it is ever going to be competitive unless they get a really good card that can make the plays less conditional and can give the deck multiple plays in a turn, which the deck just really cannot do right now. So it isn't as bad as it used to be, but I would not play it in a competitive setting. I wouldn't even bring it to locals personally because that's too competitive a setting for the deck. If you're just playing around for fun with friends, the deck can work just fine. If I have to give it a business casual rating, I would put it pretty low, partially because of the fact that it has no business to it. It is not a competitive deck, and also because I found it fairly linear. I did not actually enjoy playing the deck a good portion of the time because I always felt like I only had one play I could make during a turn, and it had to be that play, or else it was just totally suboptimal. So I was not a fan of the deck even after it got its new support. You guys may have been. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Meanwhile, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, let me know why in the comments section below. Of course, subscribe for more decks discussion analysis and general Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. I'm your host, the RJB0. Thank you guys for watching, and I got a jet. See ya.